Shalom and greetings from Jerusalem, Jane. I want to say Merry Christmas to my family, to my loved ones around the world, to my friends and all my followers who is celebrating the birth of Christ these days. Merry Christmas. May you have a blessed, a happy, a joyful, and a fabulous time when you are now all coming together, traveling to be with your family for this special season. He is the reason for this season. To my family, I love you, I miss you. I wish I could have been with you, but unfortunately not this year. I want to tell all of you that there's not one person here in Israel who's the same since the October massacre and onslaught. Everyone living here in Israel has changed dramatically since that day. So when you come together and you are celebrating the birth of Christ, which happened here in Israel, I hope you will take time out to honor and to pray for and to bless the Holy Land and the Jewish people who has endured so much and been through so much. It's a very special time here in Israel, and yeah, there's part of me that wish that I was with my family in Denmark now for this holiday season. But as you all know, things changed for me dramatically about a month and a half ago. The rug was pulled out under me, and I was told you have to pack up and leave the apartment that I had been in for a year, and I still had 4 months left, but Jane, you have to leave. So that's why I have been a little bit quiet, because I have been so busy. I have had to pack up and move and get rid of a lot of things, and found a small Airbnb outside Jerusalem. Now I am back in Jerusalem. I have rented a room, as you can see behind me. A dear friend of mine said, Jane, I just happen to have one of my rooms available. Why don't you come rent it and stay here with me and just catch your breath in the midst of all of this? For 10 years, well, actually a little bit more than 10 years, I have given my heart and soul in speaking up for Israel, being the one that many of you went to get news out of Israel, because so much is happening here that you don't hear in mainstream media. I just looked at my Facebook memories now, and I can see on this day, several years ago, I was reporting about 3 people who were stabbed near Jaffa Gate in Jerusalem. I was reporting about that. We also had the anniversary of a dear lady here in Israel who was brutally murdered, Esther Hogan, mother of 6, who went out jogging and she was brutally assaulted and murdered. Her head was crushed with a huge rock by a Palestinian terrorist who set out to murder another Jew. I remember reporting about that story. I was sobbing. After reporting about that. And that's what I've been doing for so many years, because God sent me here to the Holy Land to be amongst His people, to comfort His people and share news out of this land that mainstream media not covering, because it was another Jew that was being murdered. So I have faithfully done that, and maybe you think it's a little bit strange to talk about this in a greeting for Christmas, but I want to give this update to the people who was asking about me. Because in one way, I could have been in Denmark with my family now, but I was unexpectedly told you have to pack up and move in a week. Because I feel like even though I am not married, I didn't get blessed to be married and have children and be pregnant. And, at my age, I could have grandchildren now. But I feel like I've been pregnant this year in preparing for what I believe is coming for me in the new year. Like I said, there's not one person in this country who is the same since the October 7 onslaught, and I am not. I am a different person today than what I was coming to Israel and what I was even before the October 7 massacre and war crimes that was carried out against the Jewish people. For so many years, I have been reporting to you about all of these stories, and I have done the best that I could just speaking to you from a phone, which I'm doing now. But I have also felt that this year that was coming to an end, and God started stirring inside of me. Something new is coming, something new is coming. You need, to close the door to the old things, not just an old chapter, but an old season, and something new is coming, that I'm starting to give birth for something new that I believe God has in store for me. You see, while mainstream media focused mainly on what was happening in Gaza, we had 1,000 soldiers, nearly 1,000 soldiers, who was killed defending the Jewish homelands, with many, many widows sitting now, missing their husband, many children who was left without a father. So many stories that needs to be told, so many widows that needs to share their stories and show the face of their husbands who was killed defending the Jewish homelands. We have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of soldiers who are now lost an arm, a leg, two arms, two legs, being injured in war defending the Jewish homeland. They need to tell their stories. You need to meet these young, brave soldiers, which life is now completely changed. We have thousands of soldiers with PTSD who is deeply affected. We have family members who lost someone in the Noone massacre, people who lost beloved in the October 7 attack. You need to meet them. You need to hear their stories. Before the October 7, we had so many people who were brutally murdered in terror attack. I want to share their stories. You need to hear their stories. You need to talk to their siblings, their parents, their mothers, their fathers. They can share their story about their beloved who was brutally murdered in a terror attack. I want to talk to fighter pilots who flew to Iran, if that's allowed. I want to talk to pilots who defended Israel when we were attacked by Iran. I want to talk to people who lost a loved one when Iraq was sending all of these ballistic missiles into Israel. I want to talk to the people who lost their homes when Hezbollah fired thousands and thousands of rockets into Israel. 100,000 people had to flee from their homes. They were evacuated from the north. They were living more than a year in a hotel. You need to hear their stories. You need to hear the consequences of the Jewish people, what they have been through, how their lives changed. The trauma they carry, the trauma from children. I want to talk to teenagers here in Israel. What's it like to be an Israeli teenager with all the lies and propaganda coming against you? I want to talk to Israeli athletes, especially the cycling team who represented Israel in Vuelta a España, who was discriminated against, who was protested against. Israeli athletes who their opponents, they forfeit the game, they don't want to shake their hands. What's that like? I want to talk to people in the industry of defense, the defense industry. We want to talk to soldiers. We want to talk to border police officers. I want to talk to police officers. What's it like to be a police officer in Israel? There are so many stories that needs to be told, and I would like to do that. I would like to invite and talk to the prime minister, the foreign minister, defense minister. I have a government press office pass. I want to talk to diplomats. I want to talk to Israeli ambassador Sibni Hotivali, Dani Danon. What's it like to be the Israeli representative to the United Nations? What's it like to be an Israeli ambassador around the world, especially since the October 7 onslaught? There are so many stories that needs to be told, and that's what's stirring inside of me. That's what's been birthing inside of me, that after doing all of these broadcasts alone, giving heartfelt updates, I want to do heartfelt conversations from Israel. That's actually the name I've chosen for my, God willingly, my upcoming podcast. I want to talk to these people. So going into the new year, I'm looking for donors, I'm looking for sponsors. Jerusalem Jane's podcast, Heartfelt Conversations from Israel, where I can invite all of these precious people into my podcast studio. I want a studio with couches and flowers, where people are comfortable. When the people come in and they bring their children, and they're going to share how their sister, how their brother was brutally murdered in a terror attack. I want to invite all of these precious people to my, God willingly, new broadcast studio in Jerusalem. So that's my Hanukkah wish, that's my Christmas presents, that's what's been stirring inside of me, that going into the new year, I am looking for donors, sponsorships for Jerusalem Jane's podcast out of Israel, because so many Israelis, so many Jews needs to tell their story of how their lives changed on that day. And also, I want to talk to some of the people who is in special units, who covers up, who dress up like Arabs, and then they go in and they arrest terrorists right in the heart of a Palestinian-controlled cities. If they are allowed to talk to me, I want to talk to former Shin Bet agents, Mossad agents, the whole weapon industry here in Israel. Fascinating subject. So there are so many fascinating stories, important voices, ordinary people doing extraordinary things here in Israel. These stories needs to be told and reach the audience that mainstream media don't care about. We want to talk about pay for slay. We want to talk about the thousands of terrorists who has been released in order for precious hostages to come home. Terrorists with so much Jewish blood on their hands. Want to talk about the security situation in Judea and Samaria. I want to invite so many security experts to come on my podcast, and I will also continue to do current news updates. So I have so many ideas, I have so many plans, and that's what's been stirring inside of me. And I wanted to talk more about that, but all of a sudden you got to pack up and move. You got to pack up and move. And right now I have rented a room. So I'm still also looking for my own home in the beginning of the new year. So there you have it. Jerusalem Jane, being unbelievably grateful for the years that I have had here in the Holy Land, and how my life has changed, and how many thousands and thousands of updates and live broadcasts I have done, shared out to all of you around the world. And now I feel like it's time to take into a new season and to have some professional equipment and interview all of these precious people on my podcast and in my current news updates. Also making political updates, because we have entered an election year. Things are going to get very, very heated. And of course, we are not done with Gaza, Hamas, we are not done with Hezbollah, we are not done with Iran. So there will be so much to talk about. So for anyone celebrating Merry Christmas, for everyone watching this video, pray for me. Share this video out. Jerusalem Jane is preparing to find help. I need practical help. Someone who can do all the technical work for this podcast. I need landlords for a new home for myself. I need landlords who has the offices for my new office and for the podcast studio in 2026. This is not about me, but this is about all the Jewish people whose stories is not being told. The traumatized people, the widows, the children who lost their fathers in this war defending the Jewish homeland, all the soldiers who has now lost an arm and a leg or are sitting with PTSD. We need to hear their stories. The world needs to hear their stories so we can come against all the lies and propaganda that has been blasting against Israel and still is to this day. So I just want to play my part in that, a small role, using all my platforms in the new year to share all of these stories with you. So I'll drop my email address for anyone who want to say we want to get behind this. I hope a whole army of people are going to rise up and get behind this vision of a new podcast for Jerusalem Jane. We need a village to make all of this happen, and partnership and sponsors and donors for all of this. So God bless you. Thank you for standing with me for all of this year. Also this year, and I've been in a process, where you're closing the old and stepping into something new, and I'm excited about it. And I want to invite you to join me in 2026, when I hopefully will have a podcast called Heartfelt Conversations from Israel. Bye.